by Matt Reaches. $1 trillion tickers. $1 trillion tickers. Watch the market unfold. $1 trillion tickers. Turning data to gold. $1 trillion tickers. Watch the market unfold. $1 trillion tickers. Turning data to gold. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Wherever you're tuning in from around the globe. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Welcome to the $1 Trillion Tickers broadcast. I'm your host, Matt Riches, and this is the market check-in. The market is closed, and we'll be going through the closing prices of our $1 trillion tickers. Plus, we'll check out some indices and sectors. The Fear and Greed Index is almost at extreme fear right now. We are at 27. We went very quickly from greed through neutral. I think we stayed in neutral for about 2 days. We're in fear, and I think tomorrow we might be in extreme fear. Okay, it's a lot going on in the Middle East right now. And yeah, it's just been major sell-offs going on. We had Oracle. We'll check out their earnings. They had earnings after the market closed. This shows for, I did take a trade today, so we'll check on that as well. This shows for education and entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research, but you can use this show as a foundation. Let's get into the mindset before we get into the charts. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to be happy. I deserve the wealth that I'm building for me and my family. Riches and freedom, they come to our hands. I am the master of all I command. My learning is limitless. My earnings are too. The more I discover, the more I can do. The stock market is a machine of design, and I have the power to make that wealth mine. I am capable. I am skilled. I am bold. Blessings on the journey as the vision unfolds. All right, let's get into Robert Greene's Daily Law for today. Title: Infect a group with productive emotions. Today's Daily Law is about leadership, emotional tone, and the energy you bring to a group. Robert Greene says people are naturally emotional and open to the moods of others. That means your attitude can spread. Your fear can spread, your confidence can spread, your discipline can spread, and your panic can spread. So the key is to infect the group with the right emotions. Not fake confidence, not grandiosity, not hype. Productive emotion, resolution, persistence, calm, and focus. The kind of energy that says we are not falling apart because something went wrong. We're going to keep working on the problem. That's powerful. A leader who stays calm during setbacks can help the whole group stay grounded. A leader who panics can make the whole group panic. And in this market, that lesson matters every day. For long-term investors, this law is about emotional environment. If you surround yourself with panic, you'll think in panic. If you surround yourself with hype, you might start chasing candles. But if you build an environment of discipline, patience, and research, you give yourself a better chance to make clear decisions. With the Fear and Greed Index at 27, this matters even more. The market is very close to extreme fear. And when fear is loud, discipline has to be louder. Do not let the emotional environment of the market make your decisions for you. Stay balanced, stay focused. Let the data, the trend, and the fundamentals guide the decision. For day traders, this law is about controlling your emotional state before the market controls it for you. Markets like this can move fast. Prices can spike, pullbacks, reverse, consolidate, and then break again. If you bring panic into that environment, the market will expose it. If you bring overconfidence, the market can expose that too. The goal is productive emotion. Calm enough to wait, focused enough to execute, flexible enough to adjust. Today, with fear rising and Oracle selling off after earnings, the market is sending mixed signals. So watch the levels, watch the reaction, and let discipline set the tone. Execution over emotion, process over prediction. Now let's get on these charts, y'all. All right, first up, we got SPY. It was down 1.5% today. Ended up closing the day at 725. QQQ down 2% on the day. Ended up closing at 693. IWM down 1% today. Ended up closing at 282. The VIX spiked up. It is in a gap right now. The VIX ended up closing at 22.23. The VIX was up 11.8% today. NVIDIA sold off today, down 3.7%. It ended up closing at $200. It's at $199 in the aftermarket. Google's down 2.1% on the day. Ended up closing at $357. Apple was our only $1 trillion ticker of the day. It was up 0.3%, ended up closing at $291.58. Speaking of Apple, I did have an Apple trade today. I'm going to pull up the 5-minute chart and show you what happened. Okay, so y'all know my trade setup is the 9 EMA crossing up the VWAP. So as you can see here, we had our cross here at 8 o'clock. So this was the entry. But what happened? Hold on. No. Excuse me. That is the exit. This is the entry here. Because we got inputs today. So what was happening was QQQ and SPY around 8 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock, they kept on going red and back to green, red and back to green. So I was waiting until they all lined up. So Apple was red on the day at the time. SPY and the Qs were both red. So we had this cross. We had the 9 EMA cross the VWAP right here. Got into these puts. And that thing ended up reversing on me. So it ended up closing over the VWAP right here. It was very close to the VWAP. So I was like, all right, let me give it one more candle. So it ended up coming up here, coming down. So I ended up selling it. Took a loss today. All right, so that is Apple. I was on a little streak though. I think I had like 5 winning trades in a row. It's my first loss of the week. All right, next we have Microsoft down 1.5% today. Ended the day at $397. Amazon down 2.5% on the day. Down. Ended up closing at $238. TSM down 4.4% today, even though it was down way more because it hit a lower day of 405, but it ended up closing at 408. Yeah, TSM got clapped today, down $19. AVGO down 5.1%, closed the day at 372. Tesla down 3.8%, closed at 381. Meta down 2.3%. Meta is still in the gap right now. Oh, my bad. Because I went on the 5-minute chart, then I went on the 15. I was showing the wrong chart. So let me go back to Microsoft. So here's Microsoft's chart for the day. but it was still down 1.5%. Here's Amazon's chart for the day, down 2.5%. Here's TSM's minus 4.4% on the day. AVGO down 5.1% on the day. Tesla down 3.8% on the day. Meta. Oh, I think Meta filled this gap, y'all. Let me go on the daily and see. Yes, Meta filled the gap today, so we can go ahead and delete this gap off the chart. Unfortunately, it was a gap to the downside. So, yeah. Meta, wow, Meta down 2.3%, closed at 570. Terrible. MU down $44, which is 4.7%. End up closing under 900. Look at MU. End up breaking the pre-market high, rejecting this daily level, and just falling the rest of the day. Berkshire B down 0.8%, closed at 483. And Eli Lilly down 0.7%, closed at $1,136. Okay, so it's a lot of technology selling off. All the hyperscalers and $1 trillion tickers selling off today outside of Apple. VIX is spiking. Let's see if we can find where the money's flowing into. So let's check out the sectors. First one, we got XLK. It was down 2.2% today, closed at 176. Next is XLY, down 2% on the day, closed at 113. XLC down 0.4% on the day, closed at 111. XLF down 0.4% as well, closed at $52. XLV down 1.1%, closed at 152. XLI Industrial got clapped, down 3.3% on the day. Materials down 2.3%, closed at 49.60. We did have a few green sectors. This was barely green. The real estate sector, barely green today, closed at 44.99. XLU closed barely green at $44 today. XLE Energy up 1.5% on the day, closed at $58. And the strongest sector of the day was consumer staples. And that usually happens when money rotates out of risk on, technology, and growth. It goes into safety, which is consumer staples, up 1.6 today, closed at $85. All right. Let's check out the heat map. Ooh. Jeez. Let me refresh. Ooh, there's a lot of red on that heat map, y'all. That's a lot of red on that heat map, y'all. I see some green in communications, some green in consumer staples, some green in energy, and everything else looking super red. Walmart was green, Costco green, TJ Maxx. But shoot, everything else is super red out here. Talk about a red day, y'all. Let's check out these. Let's check out Bitcoin. Bitcoin is at 61,978. It's a 15-minute chart right here. Gold has just been selling off. Gold actually broke the March lows today. So gold is at $4,077 an ounce. So gold has just been getting destroyed. Let me go on a daily chart so I can show you how gold has been selling off. Look at this, y'all. Gold has been selling off since May 12th. Almost for the last month, gold has just been Sold off, consolidate, and sold off again. Damn. Come on. Let's see if it bounces on my level here at $3,998 per ounce. Ethereum is at $1,631. BMNR is at $1,564. Wow. It does have this huge gap right here, though. It's probably going to bounce on the gap before it enters the gap. The top of the gap is 1238. The middle of the gap, 851. And the bottom of the gap, 460. Wow. I don't think it'll go that low, but you never know. You never know. But sheesh, man. Tom Lee, what's going on with BMNR, man? Look, it was consolidating since when? Since February, it was consolidating in this area just between 1785 and 24, and it finally broke 17, and now it's headed to the downside, y'all. All right, let's check out some news. Oh, we had earnings. Let's check out Oracle's chart. Okay, here's let me go on the 15-minute chart. Here's Oracle's chart on the day. It did get into the gap, and then they had earnings here. They beat on earnings by 7.4%, beat on revenue by 0.4%. They must have had bad guidance because they sold off, and now is down 11.2% from the close. So Oracle sold off bad. All right, let's check out some news. I'll put the heat map up here while we check out the news. Okay, I thought this was interesting. Yes, we do have the SpaceX IPO coming up on Friday. And guess what this lady's doing? Her name is Anna Watts. A 33-year-old public relations manager in New York has stashed away $6,500 to buy SpaceX stocks on day one. If she had her way, she'd buy even more. Are you going to be like Anna Watts and put thousands of dollars into the SpaceX IPO? Or are you going to wait? Put it in the chat, y'all. Next, Elizabeth Warren is asking the SEC to delay SpaceX IPO, y'all. Let me see if I can find why. That was just on Unusual Wells. Let me see if it says why. It says Senator Elizabeth Warren urging the SEC to delay SpaceX imminent IPO over investor risk in a letter to Chair Paul Atkins. Warren flags a roughly $1.75 trillion valuation as speculative with weak math, and Elon Musk holding CEO, CTO, and chairman roles, plus super voting control, limited shareholder rights, and index rule changes, forcing millions of passive investors into exposure. That's right. If SpaceX goes into the indices, you will have SpaceX in your retirement fund. How do you feel about that? SpaceX targets raising up to $75 billion in the NASDAQ debut, with Starlink-driven revenue exceeding $18 billion annually. We'll see what happens. Okay, so this is from Walter Bloomberg on Twitter. He says, SpaceX IPO demand swamps share supply. SpaceX IPO has reportedly attracted demand for more than 4 times the shares that are available, highlighting a strong investor appetite. This will be the largest IPO in the history of the stock market, even surpassing Saudi Aramco. The ticker symbol is SPCX. All right, next we got this is from Fortune. It says Lockheed Martin, Palantir, and Amazon help fund Trump's White House ballroom. They also share more than $50 billion in federal contracts. Trump like, man, I done gave y'all over $50 billion in federal contracts. You better send me some money to fund this ballroom. All right, next, Microsoft. You know they own Xbox. Xbox is planning major layoffs next month. The layoffs, the exact scale of which is not clear yet, are expected shortly after the close of Microsoft's fiscal year on June 30th. Xbox is also planning to significantly slash budgets for marketing in some other areas of business. Okay, so back more SpaceX news. You know, this is the biggest news of the week outside of inflation data. SpaceX IPO is expected to create 4,000 new millionaires, including some cafeteria workers whose compensation packages include employee stock options. What? Imagine being a cafeteria worker getting employee stock options. Damn, that's the best cafeteria worker benefit I ever heard of. Jeez, 4,000 new millionaires though? What they gonna buy with that money? That's what I'm interested in. They gonna buy some shares probably. So while SpaceX is ready to IPO, guess what else is gonna IPO? Well, it's not gonna IPO, but guess what else is coming to the market? A 2 times short of SpaceX, y'all. They coming out with this already. This is a leverage, 2-time leverage short of SpaceX. It's gonna trade SSPC. So when the holding period is up for the 5 weeks and people who bought their shares pre-IPO are selling, I think we might need to buy some shares of this 2 times short leveraged ETF, y'all. Just an idea. Just an idea. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in to the show. This is the $1 Trillion Tickers broadcast. I am your host, Matt Riches. We'll be back tomorrow in the pre-market for the pre-market briefing show, where I'll give you at least 3 levels to the downside for support, 3 levels to the upside for resistance for our day traders and swing traders. You know how we like to end the show with some Instagram motivation?
Chase excellence, never chase money. Why? Because money has an incredible way of finding excellence. Did you chase excellence and not money? Do you have the intellectual curiosity to learn everything you can about this incredible industry and master it? Become the smartest person in the room. Have you mastered it?
I don't know if y'all ever read this book, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, but it's a lot of game on there, y'all. And then once you get those secrets of the millionaire mind, your partner gonna be asking you this.
Damn, bro. What you gonna do with all that money?
Make more money.
Okay, and with that money?
Make more money.
And with that money?
Make more money.
And then after you make all that money, how you gonna feel?
Said go get that bag. Go get that bag. Get that bag. Get that bag. Get that bag. Go get that bag. Get that bag. Go get that bag. It don't happen overnight. And there's going to be moments when it's really, really frustrating. And there's going to be moments when it's really, really inspiring and empowering. And if you get too high off the highs and too low off the lows, you're going to take yourself on a ride that's very uncomfortable. I think it's just about being committed to the work and appreciating it, when it's good and not stressing too bad when it's bad. Just appreciating the work and staying focused on showing up every day.
Watch the market unfold. $1 trillion tickers. Turning data to gold. Peace, blessings, financial freedom.